Women guards in Bergen-Belsen. A photo taken on May 2, 1945 depicts 4 women, Martha Löbelt, Gertrude Reinhold, Irene Haschke, and Anneliese Kohlmann, shortly after their arrest at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. 3 of them are wearing Nazi uniforms, while Kohlmann is disguised as a Jewish woman in a poorly fitted men's uniform. Kohlmann, a telephone operator, was later convicted of war crimes and sentenced to prison. The roles and fates of the other 3 women are less documented. Irma Grese. Irma Grese, the infamous SS guard known as the Hyena of Auschwitz, found herself in a starkly different world in August 1945. The once powerful Nazi regime lay in ruins, and Grese was a prisoner awaiting trial for her heinous crimes. Captured at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, she was among the 45 accused war criminals gathered at Celle, Germany. The once callous guard, notorious for her cruelty and sadism, was now merely a terrified woman, her reign of terror a fading nightmare. Greece would soon face the consequences of her actions. Greece and Josef Kramer. Josef Kramer, infamous as the Beast of Belsen, was the commandant of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, a place synonymous with horror and human suffering. His reign of terror was matched only by his subordinate, Irma Grese, a sadistic female guard often dubbed the Beautiful Beast. Together, they embodied the depths of inhumanity to which the Nazi regime could descend. After the war, both were captured and faced justice for their heinous crimes. Kramer, in particular, was condemned for his direct responsibility in the deaths of countless prisoners. His trial and subsequent execution served as a stark reminder of the consequences of such evil. Ilse Koch, 1947. Ilse Koch, known as the Witch of Buchenwald, was the wife of the commandant of the Buchenwald concentration camp. Despite holding no official position, she became infamous for her cruelty towards prisoners. Accused of sadism, murder, and possession of human artifacts, Koch was tried and convicted in 1947 by an American military tribunal. Though some accusations proved difficult to substantiate, her undeniable role in the camp's horrors made her a symbol of Nazi evil. Sentenced to life imprisonment, she died by suicide in 1967. Maria Mandl. Maria Mandl, a notorious SS guard and a key figure in the horrors of Auschwitz-Birkenau, met her end in 1946 following her extradition to Poland. Known for her cruelty and sadistic tendencies, she was instrumental in the deaths of countless prisoners. After the collapse of the Nazi regime, Mandl was apprehended and brought to face justice for her heinous crimes. Her trial in Poland revealed the full extent of her atrocities, from overseeing brutal selections at the camp gates to inflicting unimaginable suffering upon prisoners. Herta Bothe, a notorious SS guard at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, found herself in the dock in August 1945, awaiting trial in Celle. Her image, captured during this period, offers a chilling glimpse into the face of evil. Bothe was a central figure in the camp's horrific conditions, her cruelty towards prisoners well documented. The photo serves as a stark reminder of the women who perpetuated the Nazi regime's atrocities, their complicity in the mass murder and suffering inflicted upon countless innocent victims. Herta Ahlert. Herta Ahlert, a guard at the notorious Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, was sentenced to 15 years imprisonment for her role in the atrocities committed there. This photograph, taken in August 1945 in Celle, captures her somber expression, a stark contrast to the horrors she perpetuated. Ahlert's involvement in the Nazi regime's extermination of millions stands as a haunting reminder of the evil that humans are capable of inflicting upon one another. Her conviction and subsequent imprisonment offer a small measure of justice for the countless victims of the Holocaust. Elisabeth Volkenrath. Elisabeth Volkenrath was a ruthless Nazi guard who rose through the ranks to become a senior supervisor at Ravensbrück, Auschwitz, and Bergen-Belsen concentration camps. Her horrific acts included participating in prisoner selections at Auschwitz, overseeing multiple hangings, and contributing to the inhumane conditions at Bergen-Belsen. Ultimately, she met a fitting end when she was hanged for her crimes in November 1945, a small measure of justice for the countless victims of her brutality. A group portrait of female guards. A group portrait of female guards at Bergen-Belsen is a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. These women, seemingly ordinary individuals, chose to become active participants in one of history's darkest chapters. Their impassive faces offer no hint of the cruelty they inflicted upon their prisoners. Such images serve as a stark reminder of the importance of confronting the past, understanding the motivations that led to such horrific acts, and ensuring that such atrocities never happen again. Carmen Mori. Carmen Mori, a Swiss-born capo at the Ravensbrück concentration camp, was a particularly cruel figure, notorious for her brutality towards prisoners. Her actions as an enforcer for the Nazi regime earned her a death sentence in the Hamburg-Ravensbrück trials. Faced with the gallows, Mori tragically avoided the ultimate punishment by taking her own life the night before her scheduled execution. Her suicide, a desperate act of escape from justice, stands as a chilling testament to the depths of guilt and fear that can consume those who commit such heinous atrocities. Jenny Barkman. Jenny Barkman's appearance during her trial presented a stark contrast to the horrific crimes she had committed. While the survivors of Stutthof concentration camp bore the physical and emotional scars of her brutality, she seemed almost indifferent to the gravity of her actions. Her carefully styled hair and composed demeanor stood in stark opposition to the chaos and suffering she had inflicted upon countless innocent lives. This jarring juxtaposition highlighted the inhumanity of those capable of such monstrous acts. Female guards at Ravensbrück, established in 1939, became the nucleus of a female guard system within the Nazi concentration camp network. Initially employing women as civilian staff, the camp later evolved into a training ground for SS guards. Notable leaders like Johanna Langefeld and Maria Mandl oversaw operations, instilling a brutal regime upon the predominantly female prisoners. These female guards inflicted horrific cruelty, surpassing even the actions of many male guards. Their roles encompassed everything from physical abuse and starvation to medical experimentation and selection for extermination camps. SS women arrive at an SS holiday camp. In the summer of 1943, a group of SS women arrived at a secluded holiday camp nestled in the picturesque town of Poromka, then under German occupation. Among them was Maria Mandl, infamous as the Beast of Auschwitz, notorious for her cruelty towards prisoners. For these women, the camp offered a stark contrast to the horrors they inflicted, a place of relaxation and camaraderie amidst the war-torn landscape. As they reveled in their reprieve, the echoes of their victims' suffering remained a distant memory, a stark reminder of the blurred lines between perpetrators and their orchestrated leisure. Therese Brandl. Therese Brandl, another female SS guard, met a similar fate. Serving at 3 concentration camps between 1940 and 1945, her actions were deemed equally reprehensible. Following the war, she was found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death. Her execution, alongside Maria Mandl and others, marked a chapter of justice for the countless victims whose lives were irrevocably marred by the atrocities committed within the concentration camp system. Elizabeth Lupka. Elizabeth Lupka, a name synonymous with cruelty, served as an SS guard within the harrowing confines of Auschwitz for 2 years, from 1943 to 1945. Her role in the systematic extermination of countless lives was undeniable. Like her counterparts, Maria Mandl and Therese Brandl, Lupka was ultimately brought to justice. Found guilty of crimes against humanity, she was sentenced to death. Her execution, a stark and necessary conclusion to her reign of terror, offered a semblance of justice for the victims whose lives were stolen within the gas chambers and crematoria of Auschwitz. Prisoners lined up for roll call. A chilling image captures the dehumanization of the Holocaust. Prisoners, emaciated and stripped of individuality, stand rigidly in formation for roll call at Sachsenhausen concentration camp in 1941. This daily ritual, a seemingly mundane task, was a tool of torment. Prisoners endured hours in the open, regardless of weather, subjected to the whims of sadistic guards. Each head count was a gamble with life, as the absent were often met with brutal reprisals. Greta Bösel. Greta Bösel was a central figure in the Ravensbrück concentration camp trials. As a former nurse and camp guard, she stood accused of heinous war crimes. Her trial, part of the larger Ravensbrück trials, took place in Hamburg, Germany between December 1946 and February 1947. Alongside other female guards like Dorothea Binz, Bösel faced charges of maltreatment, murder, and participation in the infamous selections. The court found her guilty, and she was subsequently executed for her crimes in May 1947, serving as a stark reminder of the justice sought for the victims of the Holocaust, Hildegard Lechert. Her reign of terror is particularly infamous at Majdanek, where she earned the chilling moniker Bloody Brigitte. Lechert's sadistic cruelty knew no bounds. She relished in inflicting pain, both physical and psychological, upon her victims. Her brutal actions included beatings, torture, and ultimately the deaths of countless innocent people. Despite facing charges and serving time for her crimes, the extent of her punishment fell short of the monstrous acts she committed. Lechert's story stands as a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity and the urgent need for justice in the face of such evil. Emma Zimmer. Her career spanned multiple camps, including Lichtenberg, Ravensbrück, and Auschwitz, where she inflicted immeasurable suffering upon countless inmates. Her role was not merely that of a passive observer, but an active participant in the machinery of genocide. Zimmer's involvement in the selection process for the gas chambers at Bernburg is a particularly damning stain on her legacy. Ultimately, justice prevailed when a British military tribunal sentenced her to death by hanging in 1948. Louise Helene Elisabeth Dans. Louise Helene Elisabeth Dans, a chilling figure in the annals of the Holocaust, arrived at Auschwitz in September 1944. Her role as a report leader in section BIIB of Birkenau might seem removed from the immediate horrors of the gas chambers and crematoria, but it was inextricably linked to the camp's machinery of death. Her position involved the meticulous documentation of the systematic extermination process, a task that required a chilling indifference to human life. While she may not have directly inflicted physical violence, her bureaucratic role was essential to the efficient operation of the camp.